Siegfried is one of the 4 newcomer characters that was added into Granblue Fantasy Versus and Rising, and he very quickly became one of the game's strongest characters with his with his incredible tools and really strong damage. You can basically do anything you want from a very strong character in this game. But overall, there were a couple things in this kit that just made me ask why this exists, or why is it even here. These don't make Siegfried a bad character. I just think they're kind of interesting and funny, because you don't really see these moves very often, but there is a very good reason for that. I wanted to start with something I wasn't sure I was going to include here, but I just want to talk about it anyway, because you barely see it in comparison to the other two. And it's this move, Medium Orkin. You will barely ever see this move used by any Siegfried players. You barely see 22M anywhere because it's just slower than the other two. It's slower than the other two. 22L comes out of frame 14, 22H comes out of frame 16, 22M comes out of frame 21. So it's literally 7 frames slower. It's 7 frames slower than 22L, and it only combos off of a close heavy on a standard hit. Let me turn off counter hit. Because every other version of Orkin combos off lights and triple attack. Combos off lights and triple attack. 22M does not at all. This does not combo off lights at all, or triple attack on a regular standing opponent. This move only combos off of close heavy. So you're limited very heavily on combo options on when you can use it. And for the most part, the reward is just the same as 22L, except for the fact that it naturally combos into the H follow-up on hit, whereas on the light version, it does not do that. Yep, the light version drops, but 22M, this works. This move gives better reward than 22M gives better reward than 22L, but overall, you would just rather just use 22H instead, which gives you more damage, better Oki, and also combos off lights. So basically, you could just tag someone like this and then hit confirm into this if you're godlike, or do this, and then you're godlike. Then you run up and do your pressure. And for the most part, you could argue that you could attempt to just do this and save on cooldown, but your cooldown doesn't come back that slowly to begin with. You're probably pressuring people with your fireball and fucking Verdrungen anyway, so the thing's gonna come back insanely fast. And also, you have this. Now, your Oki's not gonna be as good, but it saves your cooldown, and you still get to press your advantage, which you do not get that opportunity at all with 22M at all, unless you get this. Which, and in that case, yeah, that gives you that, but it's kind of just worse than 22H because it does less damage. Does 500 less damage. Yeah, 22M is mostly just not used due to the fact that 22L and 22M and 22H are better in most metrics. The only reason 22M ever matters is when you get this, is when you get a close M or close H, and you either want to get a frame trap or you get the hit and you just want to save meter, and you want to save your cooldowns and your meter, which is not a great use of your resources at all, because you can do this, because you can just do this instead of this. Because in comparison, you could be doing this, or you could be doing this. Get you closer to the corner, more damage, and you also have better frame advantage, and you're in the corner. So now let's talk about a move that has a fairly decent use, but is still mostly niche because you have better options most of the time. And that tool is 66H. 66H is fairly niche and rarely seen, but it has one good use, in that you could use it as an anti-air combo ender mid-screen that gets a soft knockdown and leaves you in the face of the opponent at +11. You mainly use it off of counter hits 2H combos into 2-1-4 and to hold to 2-1-4M, but it does work on non-counter hits. It's just harder. It's just harder. Yeah, no. It works there, it's just way harder, so you're better off just doing it off counter hit. Now, as you saw earlier, it does leave you in it leaves you in the opponent's face at +11, which means you could basically just... It leaves you in the opponent's face at +11, meaning you can press base. You can do like a micro dash into close heavy for immediate. So you can do micro dash close heavy for immediate. Or, you know, you can press 2M, you can press whatever. You can probably just do micro dash. You can do micro dash close L if you want more plus frames. This on its own is still fairly good, and it does save on it saves you on resources. But overall, you would rather just do pretty much any of his other anti-air routes than this because it gives you better screen positioning and also just does more damage and leaves you in a better position, just in general. Just for comparison's sake, this is the combo ending with 6-6H. And this is the combo when you're ending it with his actual other combo ender. It leaves him closer to the corner, and also you just get more damage. And depending on how close you are to the corner before you hit your anti-air, you get to extend it even further. Yeah, like that. Although 6-6H does have one other function, as that the second hit forces crouch. Now, for Granblue, this is actually fairly good. This is fairly common across a lot of Granblue characters with their 6-6Hs. Like Jita's 6-6H also forces crouching. And allows you to convert off of it on a regular hit, so you can get crouching and only confirms. The issue is Siegfried's is only on the second. It's only available on the second hit, because if you hit the first hit, you're getting the knockdown. Second hit is unbearably slow. Frame 25, and you have to whiff this incredibly slow and big move. And if you whiff it, you're negative 51 on whiff, so this is not advised at all. And on block, you are -8. Fairly well spaced, but still not safe. You've basically thrown your turn away. If you hit both, you're at a better position, but you're basically throwing your turn away by doing this on block. So 6-6H is mainly used as a niche anti-air combo ender, but it's really only useful when you either don't have cooldowns or you really want to save cooldowns when you're this close to when you're this close away from the corner. But even then, Siegfried also has, you know, this, which only costs 50 bar. Which is only 50 bar, and you get bar very fast. You can also just do this. So yeah, if you're on the other side of the screen, you can just put the opponent in the other corner for 50 bar, because this is still Siegfried. He's still incredibly strong. So the last two moves that we just talked about were either very niche or just made redundant, but are by the other tools in Siegfried's kit, but are still otherwise on their own fairly okay or fine. They still do what they want. They still achieve what they need to do, and they're fairly okay at it, but they're just redundant or just niche. This last one is what inspired me to make this video, and I think this move is just bad. It is a waste of resources, and it's just overall detrimental to him if you decide to use it. This is his second SBA, Blood of the Dragon. Blood of the Dragon is an install super that consumes half of Siegfried's remaining health and clears his 5U buff level to grant him a small range boost, and an extra 100 base damage on all of his special moves. And on top of that, all of his special moves, H, heavy normals, and his 5U and JU, not his sweep, and his other two supers give him basically lifesteal. if you played Rocket with Blood or BlazBlue, this is his drive pretty much. His heavy normals use all of his specials and his supers on hit or block will give him some health. Will give him some health back with some exceptions, like his regular SBA not giving him health back on block. And unlike his regular Magniance level that is based on a timer, this lasts until the end of the round. But as a drawback, he cannot gain Magniance levels anymore. 5U is basically only uses a strike that gives him health. In a vacuum, this does a lot for Siegfried. This does a lot for him. And this might seem like a fairly decent investment. Here's the problem. It just doesn't do more than a level 2 Magniance would. It just doesn't do as much, and the benefits do not, and the drawbacks do not outweigh do not make the benefits better. Because you're spending half of your life for this super for the rest of the round, whereas Magniance level 2 basically just spends like what, 10-15% of your life for a buff that'll do a shit ton of damage. So like just for a comparison, here's a corner combo starting with level 2 Magniance. I'm gonna end it with super just to show it. I ended with super just to show it how many just to spend the same resources and just to show you what is possible to do with a super. And now let's look at it with Blood of the Dragon. Now I'm not gonna spend super here because I already spent it. But also, just to be fair, since that combo did not end with a super, we'll just do level 2, and we're not going to end with super. But even then, as you can see, a level 2 Magniance out-damages this super. So... And the timer was about to run out, but also you could just like press it again afterwards, or you could press it again to get level 3, which will do even more damage. Now you're probably also saying that getting to level 2 Magniance is probably very difficult, but the thing is, it's really not, because Siegfried has a very, very easy way to do it, especially in the corner, because you could just get an easy level 2 setup off of H Orkin in the corner. Because he gets this and he's +3, so he gets immediate close light or a throw. And you're at level 2, and that next touch will probably just kill the opponent outright if you have meter. Because like say if you get them to the corner with like any decent hit, and then you do level 2, and then you hit them with a level 2 Magniance combo, they're probably almost dead or they're very close to death. You're probably just gonna kill them outright. Whereas with this, you're spending half of your life and almost all your meter for that, and you're using that bar on something that's not this. The biggest issue with Blood of the Dragon is purely just his other SBA just existing. This move is incredible. You're much better spending your meter on like a reaction punish on this thing, or setting up an unblockable with H Fireball. Because look how far this fucking move goes. Yeah, overall, you'd rather just spend it on your other super, and also it gets out-damaged by just your Magniance buffs. The life drain and the extra range on your skills and on your skills just ultimately just does not matter when you're out-damaged by just doing this. And you're spending less health, and you're spending no meter to do so. And there's also one other important part about this super that is really, really detrimental to him. It does not give him back a bravery point upon activation like his other 2 supers do. So that gives him a bravery point. SSBA gives him a bravery point. Blood of the Dragon does not give him a bravery point upon activation, which is really, really detrimental. Because that just means you're not playing Rising. If you have no bravery points, that just means you're not playing Rising. That means you're not brave countering. You're not trying to force a raging strike. You're not trying to do anything. You don't get one of the quintessential parts of the game back, which is really bad. And also you're losing the ability to take away a bravery point. Because if you hit someone with a close super, you take away a bravery point, and if you hit someone with a close super skybound dart, you take away 2. So you're actively taking this opportunity away from you when you use the super. And you're also wasting your bar that you could be using on your ult skills, which is like this, the fuck you corner tool, your fast DP, and also the funny unblockable setup. Oh, and also not to mention this. Like seriously, this super is incredible. Like this move on its own, even if Blood of the Dragon was okay, this move automatically makes Blood of the Dragon a worse option. Overall, this move is just a waste of resources. It's a waste of resources. It's actively detrimental. And you don't really get anything that you can't do with just pressing 5U twice. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about these moves because they were kind of funny to me. Siegfried overall is still an incredibly strong and broken character. I think he's top 5, but some people think he's top 1. He's still incredibly strong and he's still incredibly strong. Yeah, no, Siegfried's broken. I just want to talk about a couple of moves that were funny. Smile.